Hey guys, and welcome to TezMania TV. In today's video I am going to be talking a little bit about different techniques to get more texture and more accessorizing into dreads. And I'm using wool dreads at the moment that I made from merino wool rovings that I order from the Cyberlux shop in the UK. They're awesome, fast, and they have a great selection. I've made black and 2 shades of grey. And then in order for them to not look completely flat, which can be the case when you use wool, I try to add different textures and stuff to them. So I have like a couple looking like this, and I have some beads, and I have a couple looking like this. So I thought I'd go through like a couple of tips of what you can do to just make them more interesting. It's totally fine to just wear them plain as well, but like I get bored with that. I want to just like keep adding stuff, and I'll probably add some buttons or tiny little skulls or something at some point. And then you can add stuff just for special occasions and then take them away again. So there's a lot of great stuff you can do. But these are the things that are braided in right now. So if I wanted to add more stuff, I can do that afterwards by just attaching them up here. So you don't have to have everything braided in. If I want like even more volume for a night out, I'll just add some stuff to the scrunchies and it'll look like I have twice as much hair. Alright, so let's start with the beads. So on this thread right here, I have 2 of them. I just put those 2 in right now, so I'm going to put in a couple more just to show you how I do it. The beads that I use are tiny metallic beads. They're not specifically made to be used on hair or anything like that, but since the holes are so large, they fit really well with these thick dreads. So I just buy them from a local craft store here in Stockholm. You can buy them online and stuff too. So when you have dreads that are thick like this, all you have to do is just pull them onto your hair basically. So let's find one that needs a little bit of pimping on this side. Maybe there's a dark one. Yeah, maybe this one could work. Now the ends, when you work with wool, they're like all fluffy and they shed like crazy. So in order to get the bead onto the end of the dread, I just kind of twist it between my fingers so that it becomes more pointy. And then I just kind of try to feed it through, and then I just pull it on. Maybe that was too far up. And it'll just stay on its own. So I'll put another one on that same dread. And I like, since I have the gray ones now, I like mixing in a bit of metallic, because gray and like silver or chrome does sort of go hand in hand. Oh shit, they actually match the ones on the other side kind of in height. Yeah, so I have a little bit of those. Now, very simple to do, you just have to find the right beads, and you can use plastic beads, like any kind of beads that you like. Just make sure that the holes are big enough for your hair to actually go through. If you use synthetic dreads, you might need to be a little bit more careful depending on how thick they are. If they're kind of thick, you should be able to pull them on and they'll stay on its own. But if they're thinner and synthetic, they might be able to slide off, because synthetic ones are like slidey, slippery, shiny ones. So these are matte and not like slidey, slippery at all. So anything will go on these actually. But if you do use them on synthetic hair, you can maybe just help attach them a little bit by putting scrunchies on both sides, like just mini elastic scrunchies, the ones that you use to braid the dreads in the first place. So I maybe want to add some more. Do we have any more? So just twist that end to get it pointy. If you make your dreads very, very tight, you'll probably have the ends pointy in the first place. I tend not to do that. I like mine loose because it means they get fluffier, and it also means that it's a little bit easier to add stuff like this to them. So we'll find a light one on this side. Do we have a light one? And this is something that you can obviously do after your dreads have already been braided in. As you can tell, I'll just add them all. Put the last one in this one. And there we go, we have some more bling. Now another way to get that texture without having to use beads is to do what I've done to this one, for example, and that is to just use these same elastics that you use to braid them in and just like put those randomly on the hair, and that'll just give it that texture. So I've done that to a couple on both sides, just to break off the color a little bit, and then just break them up into like little sausages. It just makes it more interesting. So that's the second thing you can do, very fast and easy. The third thing is something that I do before braiding them in, and that is creating one of these. This is not difficult at all, it just takes a little bit longer than the other stuff. So I'm going to show you how to do that on a dread that I have not braided in. Basically what I do is have the dread and then choose a regular sewing thread. I've used white and black on these. For this one, for the light one, I have used black just to contrast that, and then I have somewhere in here black ones. I don't know if you can see that, but like with white thread just to get that contrast. So working with opposites really. So what I do is I take the dread and then I get 2 strings of thread that are about twice as long as the dread itself. I don't actually measure, I just kind of cut it and hope that it'll be enough. And then I place all 3 together, sort of at the same length. And then I take a transparent little mini scrunchie. Can you see that? And this you can choose to remove afterwards if you like, or you can keep it on because it is transparent. This is just to hold the thread in place while I work, but then at the end we do tie the ends together. We can't start by doing that because they're not attached to anything yet. So here we go. All 3 are tied together now. Now for this next step, the best way to do this is to have it pinned and then work on it, but I don't currently have anything like that. So what I actually do, like here are my knees. I take the end that we started with, like the one where they are tied together, and I put that between my knees, and then I put the other dread up here and I hold it down with my chin. But again, if you find a smoother way to attach them, that would be awesome. Alright, so we have a close-up of my knees. I'm just holding this down, and then I just sort of braid these on. I just start by doing a cross, and then I do a cross underneath, and then I do a cross on top, and then underneath, and then on top, and then I just keep going like that. And then when you get to the end, you just tie your 2 ends together, and then cut the edges off, and then you're done. Then you just braid them in with the rest of your dreads, and you have instant texture. Just quickly going to show you, like, I'm adding a couple of these skull-shaped studs as well. Be careful with these though, because they are studs, so they have sharp edges. So I'll just put like one in here, and then it's the kind where you just like fold the legs in the back, and there we go. That is it for this video. I hope you guys found some helpful tips to texturize and accessorize your dreads a little bit. Obviously there are a million different ways to do it, but these are just a couple of examples of how I do it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!